Hi, and welcome to Real Estate Unleashed. I am your host, Bridget Quinn. You can find me on all social media at B Quinn Realtor.
And I'm Regan Hildebrand. You can find me on social media at Regan. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever
time zone you're in. Welcome. Thank you for watching and continuing to follow our journey.
We're starting to lose count of where we are video-wise now.
I don't know.
Yeah. We're getting into, I think it's Lucky 13.
12 or 13, something like that.
Yeah. I'm going to do something different this time. I didn't tell you this beforehand. We'll start by saying, if you're watching or listening, please hit the subscribe button. Helps us out. She's pointing at that, not to be imaginary graphic we're going to add in post here.
It's the magic later. Magic later.
Yeah, help us out. We appreciate the subscribes. We've picked up a lot of new viewers, and it's exciting. So, we hope that you'll continue to interact with us.
And if this is, getting a little tongue-tied this morning. Apparently, I need more coffee. If this is your first time meeting us, we are your geeky realtors who like to share information, share stories, tips and tricks, keeping it real. Realtors.
Two syllables.
Realtor
in proper way, but yeah. Help us out, interact with us, let us know if you have questions, topics that we can cover for you, pressing
add in the
concerns.
Comments below, hopefully that
always helps too. That bumps up the engagement a little bit. But as we're growing, it's I think the fun is getting seeing just the people come in. New viewers around there. We've watched the demographics thanks to the wonders of the social media insights and things.
Yes, it's been fun.
But it's nice to see a little bit of that. It can be a little overwhelming sometimes when you're out there and you're looking for advice. We hope that you'll find that we can give you some good advice.
Hopefully.
There's bad advice.
There's lots of bad advice out there.
Yeah.
Your neighbor down the street thinks they know it all about real estate and offers that on maybe Nextdoor app or on your Facebook post.
Yeah, it came up. I saw something over the past weekend about someone was talking about,
Zillow
and finding agents that way, and nothing against it.
No, I mean, we've been there, done that.
We've been involved with the different ancillary websites out there that do connect consumers with real estate agents in the past, and pros and cons of it are many.
The long list for sure.
I think the biggest con though is that when you go that route, you don't know what you're getting until you get it, right? It's a little you can pick people out of a crowd, and I know with Zillow and Realtor.com and some of the other sites out there, it's very easy to go in and you can pull up reviews of agents. And we as agents have used that as a resource to connect with referrals outside of our market.
Oh, absolutely. I like the review part of it. It's good. I mean, anytime I finish a transaction, that's the first thing I always do is tell my clients to leave me a review on the Zillow. But as far as picking per se or doing more of the Russian roulette, just choose an agent, I just want to see this house sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean it's like throwing darts at a board.
It is
with the blinders on. You don't know what you're going to get again until you kind of meet up and see. And I think that again, I don't want to knock it because we've been there,
done that. Sure,
many of my just my favorite experiences and clients have been through those avenues. That's how we connected.
Yeah, I find that sometimes that's just more you get, the lucky draw of things more so than just happenstance.
Right. But what's interesting about that is when you connect with people through that, a lot of times they might have been through other agents already for showings or that little cycle of finding the right house or the right agent to list your current home.
And then there's some people out there that think, I just want to call whoever is the listing agent that's on the house. I just need to call them to see the house. You don't have to just call the listing agent,
Right. And that's obviously one of the old little tropes in our business is don't call the listing agent. For those that don't kind of know those quick backstory to that, when you're working with a listing agent, they're representing
The seller.
sellers, and typically, unless there's some kind of dual agency thing going on, it's only the sellers. But even if it were dual agency, there's no fiduciary responsibility from them back to you as the buyers.
Yeah, you just lose out a lot of representation and a lot of, getting the best deal that you can from the buyer's perspective, and just it's a lot involved.
Well, and that is like the key thing that I think we want to talk about today, is that as we have shifted now to an actual much buyer's
that's
market.
The S word.
It's going to be there.
Yeah.
Probably no turning around from it. Is that we're heading, if not already, and it's up for debate, into that buyer's market.
Yeah, we're on the.
Yeah, and in the historical perspective, a buyer's market typically is more than 6 months of inventory. In other words, if no one lists a house anymore, it'll take 6 months to sell out of the current inventory. We're not to 6 months yet. No. Not at least in our market here, and I don't think most of the country is either, but we're heading in that direction.
Yeah, we're more of that market than we have been.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a long time.
Days of inventory.
Yep.
At the peak of this craziness.
Well, it was insane.
To then weeks, and then finally we went to now months of inventory, and with all that, it's like. We know that buyers are in a better position.
They are, certainly, for sure.
So if you're a buyer out there and you're not getting the best representation, you're kind of blankety blanked in the blankety blank.
Yeah, there's a lot of blankety blanks in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
no, I mean, it's would you say it's a multiverse of madness out there currently for some people's?
Yeah.
Welcome to Marvel Week, folks. We're here.
Right.
We're here all day.
We're here all day with America's ass.
No, that's on this side.
Oh, sorry.
We switched over to the Iron Man today.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, there's a lot to sort through, to pick through. And again, if you're going out there and you're in this market as a buyer, you're no longer just pulling out a checkbook, trying to write the largest deposit,
offering
and the best
your firstborn
terms.
Child, willing to do that,
paying for college educations.
Sure, no.
You can actually get to real negotiations now. And if you don't pick the right agent to be your front line of that negotiation,
well, you're already shot yourself in the foot from the beginning on that one.
Yeah.
I certainly think we have a lot to offer, as you say, with negotiation. Do you know the area? Are you working with great vendors and great contacts like we do?
Yeah.
Who could get you through to that finish line, because at the end of the day, it's getting across, it's winning, it's making the transaction as smooth as possible. I know the unexpected happens. Please see whatever episode 5 that is. Roll back. I was thinking of the old Walmart commercials with the smiley face, the rollback, with the little cowboy hat. Sorry.
And that's what prices are doing in this market. They're just all rolling back.
Roll back. I love that little smiley face. But let's jump off the.
I'll make sure to insert that into post. Rollback icon right here.
When you pick the right realtor, such as us, that understands the madness that's out there and the things, you put yourself in that better position to have a smoother transaction in the grand scheme of things. You're getting the best deal. We know who to work with, how to operate, and just to...
Yeah, and navigating through that maddening piece of being in this market is different than it was 6 months ago, a year ago. We've already said all that, but
sure.
And we try to stay humble, but I will tell you, it was a real proud moment. I guess it's been a little less than a week now. I got to text another agent in our firm and humble brag that on two sides. So I had two sides, a sell side and a buy side for a client that's selling house, getting a larger house,
right?
And we're negotiating on repairs for both sides. Literally, I have an inspection report that came in from the buyer's agent on my listing for this client, and I have the inspection report in hand for the property they're purchasing.
Yep.
So we have two, different size, but both very
rolling
similar.
around the same time frame.
Yeah, and literally same day. And it was a real proud moment when it got it all wrapped up, has signatures in hand on both sides from the listing agent for the house they're purchasing, the buyer's agent for the house that they're selling. And I had both in hand, and I was able to crunch the numbers and call that client, him and his wife, and tell them, you saved $12,000 all together.
Right.
So they're going to walk away at the end of this transaction with $12,000 more in their pocket than they thought.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just from negotiating. Like, it wasn't there before. So the reason for that is we got some credits back on the purchase side, and we pushed back on some requested things on the selling side.
Right.
And they had budgeted for one number, hoping, when all this is said and done, and we're able to add $12,000 to that.
Oh, fantastic.
That's the power. That's what we're talking about. Like, we're talking about negotiating now in a market where you can. And yeah, we can roll back and roll up.
Insert the image again. Ride.
We can do a lot more now.
We can.
And that's what I think everyone should take away from this. You got to work with the right person that can do more for you.
And we're fun.
We
Just
are.
personally speaking.
I think so. I mean, that's the greatest. You're talking about reviews on Zillow and stuff.
Oh, I know.
The greatest ones that come through, whether it be Google, Facebook, or Zillow, whatever it is, the ones that tell me that it was fun to work with me.
I'm sure.
I hope I didn't make your life more stressful, is what I tell people when we're all said and done.
Absolutely.
Take some stress off for them. And, when you can call somebody and tell them they got $12,000 more in their pocket, it's a lot more fun.
Absolutely.
You can have a lot of fun with $12,000.
You could.
Hell of a Christmas party.
You could have that star painted room like we talked about before.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, we're now in a different spot market-wise. And it's a lot of multifaceted, multi-universal pieces that people have to understand. But if you're in North and South Carolina, reach out to us.
Sure.
If you're not, we'll hook you up with somebody.
But see, that's where we've talked about it before. Let us do the legwork to find you someone who is going to take the time and have the same professionalism, have the same mindset that we would have, and do the things that's important. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. And we're not going to sit here and say that we click with every single client.
No.
There have been plenty of people that, circumstantially.
I'm sure some people are Trekkies more so than Star Wars. And,
listen,
that's okay.
I'm the Trek guy. They can come to you for the Star Wars stuff.
That's okay.
It's fine.
Deal.
You
saw it here. But I mean, you're right. Yeah, you don't always click with everyone, and that's fine. I'm okay that I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but I think we are for the most part, and that's what.
Yeah, I mean, I rounded out, and so I don't remember if we really discussed like the situation in North Carolina before, but we have, different parts of our firm operation. I'm broker in charge here, and having served in that role, it's easy for me to find people in our firm, if I don't click with somebody, to line them up with somebody in our firm. So yeah, if somebody knows an area better than me, I'm going to hand them off to that person that knows it better inside of our firm.
Sure.
So, and there are, like, this is yourself. And actually, this is a really good example. Things are turning in here.
I think I know where you're going on this one.
I had that client, I don't know, was it 6 months ago, that was looking in the Thomasville area.
Lexington, yep.
And that's your backyard from growing up.
Yep, sure is.
And so you handled that client for me.
Yep.
We worked it a little bit together there. We were in communication, but it made more sense for you to be in that role. You knew that area 20 million times better than I could.
As you say, that's where I grew up. It made sense, and was able to offer things of, hey, go there, and it worked out great for the clients because they were just ecstatic that I knew so much about it and was saying, hey, this festival's coming up and make sure you go here, and here's a good coffee shop, or these are good places where you can meet kind of people your own age and different things. And
it's a little bit more than just about the house sometimes.
Oh yeah.
It's about what you know, what you can engage in, help people through, not just on, well, the house has stucco siding,
We don't have step-by setting much around here, but yes.
You're just telling people like little things like, oh yeah.
No, it's
we try not to make it transactional, I guess, is the piece.
Right.
Yeah.
It would be boring if it was just transactional. I mean, we're obviously professionals.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and you try to take it to make it fun, but also to
fun check, no problem.
No, that's easy. That's the easy part in most cases. All things work out otherwise, right? With the other agents and the other sellers, buyers, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah,
some people just, as you say, just personality-wise, it's, I'm not going to say sticks in the mud, but some people are just not as outgoing, and I'm not always the most outgoing, but I'm outgoing with people that I'm comfortable with.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I mentioned that part about clicking with your clients, your lender professionals.
Oh, sure.
Whoever it is, inspectors, we all have those ones that we know we kind of resonate with, and it makes sense for us to match them up with people that they're going to resonate with. You know, I've got lenders that are sometimes a little bit more bubbly, and we love that. And then you have clients though that are just like really reserved, and you're
right, you know, and you've got different circumstances too. Is I'm going to look for people a little bit differently if I have first time home buyers, right? To me, they're going to need a little bit more hand holding, or work with someone who can explain, okay, here's what happens with your due diligence money, or here's what happens, you know, here's what you need to bring to the closing table. Explain those certain things. I mean, obviously I explain it too, but versus somebody who's maybe this is their 10th property in 7 years, you don't need that hand holding, so to speak.
It's funny you mentioned 10th property in 7 years kind of deal. I recently had clients that they were pros at the home buying and selling process because they relocated so often, you know, moving across the country, and, you know, they finally land back in Concord. They've been through Concord before, and that's how they connected with me. And, you know, they already knew which lender they want to work with. And I'm not going to stop anybody. I'm not going to make another recommendation if you say, you know, this is our 5th purchase with this lender, and this is our, you know, however many times of working with this home inspector, pest guy, whatever it is. 100%.
Well, and, you know, and I mean, maybe that's somebody new that we'll add to our little portfolio or spreadsheet of, okay, well, obviously this person or this couple or whoever has worked with them and they've had great success and they can do things, and so we'll just add it to our.
And that's exactly what happened in that situation. The lender that they worked with, and I think it was the 4th or 5th purchase refinance, that kind of piece that they'd done with this loan originator, who was based out of, I think, the Winston Greensboro area. So it wasn't even in my wheelhouse to like have that connection before. But I mean, you talk about just a buttery smooth process from start to finish. And now she's in my little contacts list of lenders who I'd go back to in a heartbeat.
Sure.
Even for personal, you know, use, that kind of thing. So yeah, you get connected with people who add to our little database of knowledge and resources.
Sure.
Yeah. It's exciting. Sometimes not so. I mean, I've been paired with plenty of that. I never, you know, I just edit their contacts to put a little note in there that says, hope I never work with again. Or some other words, choice words. On all sides.
On all sides, yeah.
Yeah, live and learn. But that's the piece I guess I would want everyone to take away. Like, just use the knowledge that's available to you. Don't just throw a dart blindly and pick somebody, whether it be Zillow or wherever you're going. If you're going to spend 6 figures on a purchase, get somebody who you want to work with, you click with, and has a knowledge base.
Sure. I mean, I've had people, you know, when I say here's, you know, my list of lenders that I like to use, I've had some of them tell me, you know, they call to kind of see what they can get, and they're like, you know what, I just wasn't completely gelling with this person. I was like, it's okay. I mean, that's your choice, you know. And they one of the other suggestions they rolled with, and were over the moon with that. And it's just, as you say, not all personalities gel, and
Yeah, I mean, I would never try to assume. I give people as many choices as possible. That's why I'm happy when we find more choices to add to it, to put that options out there in front of people. And it's the same thing with agents. If we are interviewing per se on that first meeting at a house and it doesn't click, it's not offended. You're not offending me by saying, thanks but no thanks, because I don't want to impede somebody, and I'm not going to waste their time or my time if it's not the right cup of tea. It's not there. So yeah, it's just overwhelming, and that's why I would just say, again, rather than just take a shot in the dark to somebody out there starting that process, reach out.
Yep.
Say, I'm looking for XYZ type of agent. And chances are we can probably put the right thumb on where you need to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, it's just
well,
from experience.
I mean, as you say, it's a large purchase. You want to be happy with who you're with.
Yeah. Yeah, and in the end, that's what we're trying to earn. It's because, we could bounce around from one client to a brand new one all the time, but if we don't have that referral base coming to us, then the other cliche in our business is a referral is the best gift you can give. Best gift you can give.
It is the best gift you can give. I love working with people, that maybe are friends of somebody that I've taken care of before, because they can vouch for me to say, you know what, Bridget did XYZ, or, went above and beyond. The same for you, I know clients that have came to you multiple times for purchases and to sell houses because you were there when it counted. You went above and beyond, and they want to continue that relationship with you because, I mean, this is more than just that transaction. It's the long haul. We want to be your realtor, not to be cheesy, but we want to be that realtor for life and help you with those purchases or those sales.
It's a lot easier marketing when we know we're already fitting in a niche with you. We already kind of click, and not to say that we're lazy with our marketing, but it's the easiest type of marketing to do when it's just word of mouth.
Well, what you see is what you get, and if you already know how we operate.
Well, to your point, the what you see is what you get is kind of what stirred us to do the podcast that we're in right now.
Sure.
We just put ourselves out there, and we know we're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. I'm sure there's plenty of people who click and roll.
Well, there's people out there that's not my cup of tea, and that's okay.
Exactly.
But everybody's
pretty comfortable
entitled
in our own skin. Yeah. So I think that's the takeaway, right? Like just we're putting ourselves out there to say, hey, we're available. Don't have to throw darts blindly.
No.
Come to us. We'll be glad to give referrals. Even if you're not in a situation where you think you're buying and selling, I don't mind handing out my list of preferred contractors.
No, that's what we're here for. We're here for information to make just make better.
Exactly.
Make everything better.
Yep. I think, that's a good piece, and I think it kind of rounds out this little series we've done here, the Marvel series, as we called it. Yeah. It's a little harrowing. It's a little maddening. Marvelous, yeah. Yes. Yeah. I think that's a good place to kind of end, and I would just say, again, if you're not able to give us a referral, the next best thing you can do to us, the next best gift, is a subscribe click.
I knew that's where you were going. I love it. I love it. No,
and just follow us on social media.
Absolutely.
We appreciate that. And if you have questions, comments, please leave them below. Otherwise, I am Regan Hildebrand with the Home Team Realty Group. Find me on social media at Regan.
And I am Bridget Quinn, also with the Home Team Realty Group. And as always, you can find me on all social media at B. Quinn Realtor. Stay tuned for our next episode, and we'll see you then. Bye.
Bye, guys.